Hi friends. You sometimes wish you weren't so affected by the cold? I think a lot of us do. When winter comes, then kind of all the fun can go out of life sometimes because we feel like we're shivering the whole time and struggling to stay warm. Well, there is a way around that, and I'm going to share that today. It's called cold conditioning. And our bodies, we humans, are supremely adaptable. If we start adapting as soon as the temperatures start to drop, then we will be more comfortable when the cold comes. Today I'm going to share 4 exercises that can really help you to get ready for the winter cold. It's important to note that we live in a culture that celebrates comfort. It says we should be comfortable all the time. It doesn't tell us that if we're comfortable all the time, we eventually will be uncomfortable. Because our body, our minds, have these natural adaptations. So if we get more and more comfortable, we adapt to that comfort. And then we get used to a narrower and narrower range that we call comfortable. The result is that eventually, even when we're trying to be comfortable, we feel uncomfortable. Our bodies get too degraded, our mind gets too degraded, so that we constantly need that comfort in order to feel like we're okay. And then any deviation from that, and we're kind of screwed. Enter the magic of conditioning, in this case, cold conditioning. What we're trying to do here is just get our body adapted to the cold before the winter comes on really strong. And the principle is pretty easy. All we're doing is slow progressions, getting ourselves a little uncomfortable bit by bit. And the result is that our bodies go into this wonderful process of saying, hey, we will meet that challenge. Before I give you these 4 exercises, I want to note that cold conditioning is at least 50% mental. Don't think of this as a bad thing, this is a positive thing, because really we can all use some mental conditioning as well. This mental conditioning teaches us that our basic ideas about the world, for instance, that being always at a constant temperature, maybe aren't as correct as we've been led to believe. The mental conditioning also teaches us that we're stronger, we're more powerful than we've been led to believe. It says, hey, we have control over some things that we thought had power over us. Okay, here's how you do your cold conditioning. So these are 4 simple exercises, and they may seem a little bit intimidating, but remember, with all of these, the idea is not to thrust yourself into deep, deep discomfort. It's to step a little bit into discomfort. In other words, just make yourself a little bit uncomfortable with each of these exercises, and then progress as you feel stronger. Number 1 is to dress down a little bit. What I usually tell people is just take 1 layer off from what you usually would wear. So I'd usually have 1 top over this, but I'm coming out to film in just my tank top. I don't have to come out here naked. I can just take 1 layer off. And when I do that, then I'm exposing my body to a little bit of cold. Now I can dress down inside and I can dress down outside. You can do it all day long. The more you do this, the more your body will adapt quickly. So if you need to, it can just be a 10-minute exercise. But give it a try. If you just take 1 layer off and do it for a day, you may find that you make this huge progression that you didn't think was possible. A little twist on this exercise is if you're going to go outside and do something, so for me, maybe feeding the birds, dress way down and just see if you can experience that cold. and see what it feels like. This is the essence of cold conditioning, is to try to actually feel what we're feeling. So the sensation of cold that we're all familiar with is really mostly a sensation of resistance. If I tense right now against this cold, I could start shivering. My teeth could start chattering. If I just open myself to the cold, then I'll be able to feel it for what it is. And it's not nearly as intense as my resistance would have me imagine it is. The second exercise is to turn down the temperature in your house a little bit, just a couple degrees. This not only saves you on your power bills, but it's going to make a big difference in your cold conditioning. So drop that down, and then instead of wearing an extra layer, just leave your clothing the same. You can drop that a little bit by a little bit, keep the same clothes on, and you will find that you do this wonderful gradual progression. Third is, if you're driving, only do this if you're alone, and obviously don't do this so much that your fingers are going to go numb or anything like this. But if you're driving, roll down the window for a little while and let some of that cold air in. This will flood some cold air over you and give you a burst of cold that eventually, really honestly, my friends, it eventually will feel good. The fourth one is cold showers. You've probably heard me talk about these before, but getting into the shower and either starting warm and then turning it to cold, or starting it cold and getting right in, this is powerful. This probably does a little less physiologically than it does mentally, because stepping into that cold shower is a big mental hurdle for most of us. When we do that, we say, hey, I'm the one driving this ship. We do that in a big way. And that gives us this huge leap when it comes to the mental aspects of cold conditioning. That's it, my friends. 4 basic exercises you can do to increase your cold conditioning. The difference is that when you experience cold, you won't be tensing against it. It won't be as unpleasant. Yes, we'll still get cold. I definitely still get cold. But it's just going to increase the range in which we're comfortable. And the big takeaway from this, of course, is the power of non-resistance. So much of our physical, mental, emotional pain comes from resistance to what is. When we just open ourselves to what we're experiencing, magical things happen. Share down in the comments your experiences with cold conditioning. Are you doing it this winter? Tips or tricks that you have, and can't wait to hear what you have to say down there. Love to you all, my friends.